Hi kids, it's Miss Gruber. This is a symbolic representation of me right now in my health. You see, I can eat lots of fruits and vegetables. I am perfectly healthy. I'm really sorry that I'm not there right now. I definitely miss you guys. Nonetheless, the show must go on without me. So, I'm going to be doing a couple of lessons partially based on these sort of screencasts, so then you can have similar lectures and discussions as if I were there, because you're all starting a new unit on plays. So I'll take this lady off the screen now, but where I assume you've come from yesterday is that you've had a little bit of time to work on and think about your project, and you also have done some brainstorming about the differences between plays and novels. So I invite you to pause this recording and to review some of those now, so you can just keep them fresh in your head. In a second, I'll tell you to pause, but today we're going to be going over the project again, as I know that some of you had some questions yesterday on exactly what was expected, so I just want to reiterate that. And then I'll be going over some of the play history and the play background for our new course of study, Antigone. So, quickly, why don't you give me a pause and review the differences between plays and novels ahorita, i.e. now. Pause. Okay, hopefully you had a little bit of a pause there, wherein you elucidated the difference between novels and plays, particularly that novels are enjoyed alone. It's all inclusive. It's a one package deal. You get the novel, you have everything you need in there. I love how you're still looking at this lady. Sorry, I should have prepared more pictures of healthy people. Look, I even Google searched healthy for you. Thought about doing that, girl, but I don't know. Anyway, back to the task at hand. So, with regard to the differences in plays, it's meant to be enjoyed a little bit more as a group. And accordingly, there are certain conventions in plays, like inflection, that's the tone of your voice, or the tone of your voice, that's in a play. You can act those things out. Gestures, masks, songs, costumes, stage direction, those are things that the playwright is going to tell the actors to do to influence our reading of it. So group and alone, that's a major difference, yet they're all intended to entertain, teach, interpret, etc. So hopefully you have down all of those notes. I'm going to switch gears again, so if you need a second, I invite you to pause this at any time to get caught up with what I'm talking about or have time to take down the notes yourself. So now I'm going to switch over to a little bit of the project explanation. You may choose to take out this paper so you can follow along. Most of you have heard this explanation already. However, if you need more on the graphic organizer, if you would like to redo that, or if you just want to revisit what it is, I actually have posted on the website right above this link something really similar, but it explains what you should have already done for the outline. You should be getting those back today, so I invite who is ever covering for me to hand those back now. So the actual project, what I want you to do with those glorious outlines is create a thing, an image, an idea, one of these mediums or modes I listed below, that depicts the range of your topic within the novel clearly. So pretty much what I'm asking you to do, I'm going to come back to that. First, we've done an idea exploration where I asked you to come up with an idea. Next, you've made a graphic organizer looking at the relationship of that idea. Finally, you're going to exhaustively depict all of the different impressions of this topic within the novel. So you're going to take anything in the novel that's related to your topic and depict it in a way that suggests the relationship among the different things you're depicting. I'll give you an example in a second. Where you're ultimately ending is an awesome paper. So your graphic organizer should have served as a really good way to think about what you might want to do for your project, okay? So going back to the assignment sheet, your primary objective for the project is to create something that's explorative in nature. You're used to hearing from me that you need to create a concise argument, a point which you structure your points logically to convey clearly. This time, I'm asking you to convey a range of topics where you're picking one idea and illustrating the different layers that is evident in the novel, so then you can boil that down and hone it down to a clear thesis in an awesome paper. This is not due yet. The project is due on Wednesday. That's a W for Wednesday, where you're going to all be looking at one another's projects, voting, and enjoying the different ideas that are depicted, so you can further understand the novel that we looked at and really have something to say about it as the result of being a master on this topic. You with me? Who knows if you're with me, because I'm here and you're there, so hopefully you're with me. All right, so the example that I wanted to give. I found a quote from Separate Peace that I really liked. I talked to those of you that were here on Friday about the impressions of war in Separate Peace. I had mentioned how my graphic organizer, had I done this, would have depicted the various voices of war, those varying from Brinker's father, whom glorifies war as something that he goes back to the little boys who also glorify war and look forward to jumping out of that tree so they can feel more adult. And then there's the kids in the middle who actually have to deal with the reality of going to war, seeing their friends, i.e. leper, come back from it, seeing the troop train, something that also glorifies war, and being tempted to do something that you're expected to do. So that would have been depicted in my graphic organizer. Now I'm going to talk to you about what I would do for the project. The quote that I'm most attracted to about this topic reads as follows. It's right here for you. To enlist, to slam the door impulsively on the past, to shed everything down to the last bit of clothing, to break the pattern of my life that is complex design I had been weaving since birth with all its dark threads, its unexplainable symbols set against a conventional background of domestic white and schoolboy blue, all those tangled strands which required the dexterity of a virtuoso to keep flowing. I yearned to take a giant military shears to it, snap, bitten off in an instant, and nothing left in my hands but spools of khaki, which could weave only a plain, flat khaki design, however twisted they might be. So, I'm intrigued by that because it's visual in nature. Now, you don't have to do something, I'm going to say something fairly creative. You are more than welcome to go with any of these equally creative options down here. I, however, I'm going to try to paint a picture of something more abstract. So I would take a thread, and perhaps I would make a circle of the thread that's snipped at the end by these scissors that I have here. The beginning of the thread would be in blue and white. As Jean says, it's let me see, where is it? Schoolboy blue and white. I would depict that as part of the middle, because that's the idea where they were in Devon, meeting expectations. In the beginning of this thread, I would use this pattern to depict some primary colors, red, yellow, blue, to illustrate the innocence. And then maybe later, I would look back on some nostalgic colors. Now, nostalgic colors to me are in sepia tone and things like that, so you would have tans and oranges. To all these different components, I would hang little clips of quotes and ideas and analysis from me that is almost looking like a charm bracelet, as though we are charmed by the glory of war, except for when we're actually dealing with it. And at the point where we're actually dealing with it, that's when I would have the scissors close to where they could clip it off. Maybe, and I haven't thought through this yet, maybe I would have people be able to interact with my project and actually cut it. Maybe you guys, when you looked at my project, would have to cut open envelopes as though you're actually shearing with giant military shears the different parts that are fragmented as a result of war. So this is the kind of critical thinking and depth I would like to see in your projects, except the main idea is that the project should speak for itself. It shouldn't be that the viewer has to struggle on this, and you should have a completely exhaustive look on your topic so you've covered all angles. Alright, I'm going to hit the pause button on this because YouTube videos can only be 10 minutes long and I'm getting pretty close there. So I hope that clarifies the questions that you may have, and certainly if you have any further questions, you can look back to the project sheet or shoot me an email. Thanks for tuning in to part 1.